All right, guys, check it out. If you are an athlete looking to enhance your breathing mechanics to improve your performance and your recoverability, this is gonna be the video for you. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Daru. I've had 16 years in the game working with professional athletes and fighters across the board from the UFC all the way to the NFL. Today, I'm gonna go over protocols that you can use to enhance your recoverability and get you ready to perform at your peak. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna go over 3 distinct protocols that I've been able to utilize, not only for recoverability, but also to enhance performance. The first one we're gonna go over is nasal box breathing. Nasal breathing is beneficial across the board for anyone, but especially for athletes. Why? Well, the purpose of this is to establish rhythm, increase your recoverability, and control between high stress outputs. So for fighters that may be in between rounds, or if you're a field-based sport athlete, maybe it's in between plays, things like that. The structure that we can use in the box breathing format is gonna be a tempo, whether it be 5 across the board, so 5 inhale, 5 hold, 5 exhale, 5 hold, or you can even do a 4-6-8-2. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go over that in a minute, but I just wanna give you the structure of it. Now, like I said, it activates the parasympathetic response, your rest digest state, right? It's gonna build on nasal breathing efficiency. So you'll get better O2 uptake and you'll reduce fatigue with this. Another thing is gonna improve your focus, your overall composure, and body awareness, especially through the diaphragm. What we're gonna do is we're going to use it in warm-ups. You can use it again in between rounds or in between plays. And then you can also use it as a post-recovery for enhancing your recoverability and get you ready for the next session. All right, so how we're gonna set this thing up. I got Mark here. He's in a 90-90 position. The goal here, like I said, is to breathe through the nose. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get a good position of his legs, making sure that his back is flat against the floor. The reason why we're doing that is it gives him a tactile cue to enhance the ability to breathe through the diaphragm 360 degrees throughout the lumbar spine. Another thing that you can do is palpate with your fingertips. It gives you, again, that tactile cue to expand the rib cage and breathe through the diaphragm as opposed to your upper chest. So, biggest thing that I want, nice and relaxed, tongue on the roof of the mouth, and you're gonna inhale through the nose, whether it be 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you can have a big inhale through the diaphragm. So I wanna see the rib cage expand, and I want him to feel his back crush the floor. So he's gonna inhale, let's go 5-second in. As he expands the rib cage, he's gonna go a 5-second hold. And then he's gonna go 5-second exhale through the nose. After the 5-second exhale, he's gonna hold for another 5 seconds on that exhale, letting out that CO2 nice and relaxed, and then repeat that for at least 1 to even 2 minutes. Now, the goal here is to increase the time of the tempo. So if you can do 6 seconds or 8 seconds, that's gonna be very beneficial when you're talking about bringing in oxygen and letting off CO2 in a positive manner, right? The biggest thing that I also wanna see is that he's not hyperventilating, right? The goal here is to be nice and relaxed, right? It should be silent in nature, shouldn't hear a lot, and you want it to be controlled throughout each inhale, hold, and exhale. Let's get about 5 reps. Biggest thing here is you should feel nice and relaxed. Your body should feel less tense. And this is gonna be good if you're starting a workout, right? Because it gets you in a clear playing field, right? It sets the baseline. Or if you just got done doing a hard training session and you're trying to recover fast, this is another way you can do it to get you ready and prepared for the next session or for the next day. If you're a fighter between rounds, this is gonna be beneficial too for you as well. You got 1 minute to recover. So as you're paying attention to your coach, make sure you're sitting in a good posture. Typically, I like to have the elbows on the thighs or the knees so that you can feel the rib cage expand, right? Throughout, not even just the rib cage, but also 360 degrees around the lumbar spine, right? So now getting that inhale nice and controlled and exhale nice and controlled. It's gonna take you a couple of seconds to get your breath back, especially if it was a hard round. But once you can slow it down and you can have that rhythm, maintain that rhythm, right? As you're listening to the coach, it allows you to relax, it allows you to re-energize and get you ready for the next round. Okay, so this one is 2-part. Max breath holds are gonna improve your recoverability, but also improve your performance. So with the max breath holds, the purpose is to expand an athlete's ability to remain calm in high stress situations. It allows them to be efficient under that oxygen debt. All right, so really good for grappling sports, really good for field-based sports, because it is going to enhance not only your mental toughness, but also your ability to remain calm under those stressful situations. So the mechanism that we're gonna utilize is an exhale out and hold the breath. So we're gonna hold in different phases, and we're gonna try to maintain that hold for a duration of time. You're gonna push CO2 tolerance. What does it train? Again, CO2 tolerance. It manages the composure in high stress situations, right? It enhances mental focus and mental toughness, and it controls the mind under those high stress environments, right? The application, right? We're gonna incorporate that into our warm-ups to get the body revved up and ready to go. And in between lifting sets you can use, and also in conditioning to increase O2 utilization. All right, so now I'm gonna take Mark, we're gonna go through some situations. So with this one, I use this a lot with my fighters. The one guy that I could say was a UFC fighter. He started off with a max breath hold of 62. We did this for a few weeks. He started to slowly increase it. 62 meaning the paces that he's gonna achieve, right? Meaning steps every time he goes to walk. So if you're doing 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, he did 62 steps, right? By the end of the 3 weeks, he did 120 steps, right? At that point, you could see that he increased his CO2 tolerance and his ability to manage that stress under these environments. So what I'm gonna have Mark do is he's gonna take a normal breath in through his nose, normal breath out, pinch the nose, hold the breath, and then walk for paces. He's gonna go until his max capacity, so how much he can hold. Now, this is somewhat of an oxygen advantage protocol, right? And this is something that we've been able to utilize to help with all these other demands. So let's do it. Nasal breath in, breath out, hold the nose, take off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. While he's doing this, he doesn't want to speed up. You don't want to go too fast, but you don't want to go too slow either, right? You want to get as many steps as possible, right? Underneath a good cadence, right? And if you can maintain that cadence and increase your footsteps, that's definitely gonna help you improve your CO2 tolerance. Typically, we wanna do 5 total sets. We rest for about 2 minutes and then do another 5 total sets. Oh my goodness, bro. So that's a case of him being out of breath, right? Another thing that you can use is a pulse oximeter, right, to measure out your SpO2, right, your oxygen debt, right? So you don't want to get below 80 to, I would say 80, yeah, you don't want to get below 80, right? You get below that, then we're looking at, you might pass out. Only thing that I would say, the only rule is you can't pass out. So go to as far as you can. Now you're going to start to feel your legs get warm, right? That's that lactic acid buildup, right? And you feel that, right? Yeah, and you're gonna feel a little bit lightheaded, right? And you're gonna feel like you wanna breathe, right? And that CO2 is building up, right? And so that's gonna play tricks on your mind. When you feel that, just know you can go a little bit deeper until you start to black out. Then we gotta get out of there. The goal is to improve each set every time. And each week, we can get better at it, right? I would say do this around maybe 3 times a week. This would be good. All right, the last one and the most intense one is gonna be your high intensity hypoxic training. Now, you can do this with any protocol, but we're gonna use the assault bike on this one. And the biggest thing that you're doing here is it's going to mimic high altitude, which is going to improve red blood cell count and your VO2 max. So the mechanisms, right, we're gonna create O2 debt by restricting air intake, forcing those positive adaptations. Now the benefits, like I said, it's going to improve red blood cell count, improve O2 delivery, increasing tolerance to lactic acid, right, or buffering out lactic acid, and then obviously CO2 buildup as well. It's gonna build resilience under fatigue and overall stress in high stress environments, right? And then also from an application standpoint, you can use it during your conditioning protocols, or you can use it in your sport-specific training, right, to make it more specific, right, simulated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the assault bike, we're gonna go 10 seconds on, maximal effort, right? That means intensity, we're going hard as we can with the breath out and held. And then we're gonna give him 30-second recovery. He's gonna repeat that 5 to 6 times. Ready? When you first start off, you wanna get a good spin going. I would say do 5 minutes of an easy spin, right around 200 watts. 150 to 200, depending on your MAP, which if you don't know your maximal aerobic power, I have videos on that. But you want to typically stay around 50 to 60% of your MAP just to warm up. Now, once he's ready to go after those 5 minutes, we're going to do a 10-second all-out blitz, meaning I want to see him push that wattage up high as possible while he has all of his air exhaled out. So CO2 is exhaled out, and he's going to hold his breath for that 10 seconds. All right, so he's going to take a normal breath in, exhale out, hold the breath, and then go for 10 seconds. All right, ready? Normal breath in, blow it out, go. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. 5, 4, 3, 2, relax. Good, good. Now he's gonna recover at 50 to 60% of his MAP, so around 150 to 200, and he's going to recover for 30 full seconds. Repeat it again after those 30 seconds. All right, you ready to go? Nasal breathe in, blow it out, take off. Come on, push, 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 let's go. Get it up, get it up, get it up, come on. Time. That's two, all right? 30 seconds again. All right, this is very demanding, so you don't want to do too much volume, right? Typically we would do 5, maybe 6 sets, right? Rest for maybe 5 minutes and then do another round of that. And hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Strong finish, strong finish. Good. I didn't want to tell him to stop, but you did 10 seconds, all right. Okay, so for these 3 protocols, you have the nasal breathing, right? The nasal breathing, box breathing. You want to do that every day, right? Before training, and then also for your recovery after your training sessions. For the max breath holds, you want to do that at least 3 times a week, right? Before your training, or you can do it in between sets or conditioning protocols. With the high intensity intervals, 1 time a week, right? Very intense, very demanding. So I would do this 1 time a week inside of your conditioning to enhance all those adaptations, right? There it is. What's up guys, Daru here. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.